God damn. God damn. The Diddy case just started today, actually. I'm sure some of you guys know already. The Diddy case has just started, the first day of the Diddy case. Loads of details have kind of made it out there. One of the main details is this one, courtesy of TMZ. It says Diddy made Escorts pee in Cassie's mouth as first claim in the trial opening. So this case has started off with a fucking bang, right? With an absolute bang. Diddy made Escorts pee in Cassie's mouth. So I guess with this particular headline and its particular details, what you'd imagine would happen now is the I forgot what side it is. I guess the prosecution are going to be arguing that all of this was, even though it was a little bit weird and a little bit out of the norm, that we shouldn't kink shame, and this was all stuff that was going on with consenting adults, not children, because we haven't really got any evidence so far that I've seen that says that Diddy was a pedo. A lot of it's just about him, you know, getting people of consenting of, like, you know, adult age to take part in these freak-offs and shit. So I think that's going to be their defense. They're going to make it seem like, no, this was all with consenting adults, and now many years later they're now trying to paint Diddy as to be this monster when really they were down to hang, down to be freaky, but now however many years have elapsed and they're now suddenly talking like they're victims. That's what they're going to probably say. But the unfortunate nature of it is, it's so out of the norm for regular people, for regular human beings, for regular civilians, as stand-up comedians will say, that no matter how they try and spin it, it's still gonna not gonna sit right with people. The jury's still gonna see this and be kind of grossed out, you know, the details of it, because Diddy was into some proper freak shit. There's no way of just like making it seem as like, oh, he just was sexually adventurous. No, this is gonna sound very perverted, very extreme, disgusting to some people, especially if you're religious. There's just no way to spin this and make it look okay, you know. That's like, if he's not guilty, there's no way he can not look guilty, because everything's gonna sound crazy to the regular person, you know what I mean? And then when Cassie gets on the stand, it's gonna be worse, because allegedly Cassie's gonna give evidence. She's the main witness, you'd imagine, and she's heavily pregnant. I think she's like, you know, about to fucking give birth soon to her third child. So she's gonna get on stage. She's gonna be crying. She's gonna be heavily pregnant. The optics are so bad for Diddy. The optics are so fucking bad. And if Diddy's side press her too much and make her get, you know, flustered and whatever, it's going to look bad. If she gets, you know, if they just ask her to tell her story, it's going to sound heartbreaking. So either way, it's not looking good for Diddy. It really is not looking good. Let's read the article here, courtesy of TMZ. Diddy made a sex worker urinate in Cassie's mouth during a freak-off, at least according to federal prosecutors who came out swinging in court. Opening statements are underway in Diddy's sex trafficking trial in New York City, and the feds are laying out their case against Bad Boy Records founder, making some graphic allegations. The funny thing about peeing in mouths and stuff, the only time that I've experienced that sort of shit was in Berghain, and unfortunately, I've never had the privilege of being asked. But I've been in Berghain where that famous guy is. He's usually in the Pano Bar bathrooms, from what I can remember. He's usually in the Pano Bar toilet, sorry. There's a famous dude who's usually in there, and he just has on a pair of Dr. Martens usually. Some people I've read have said that he's wearing Dr. Marten boots, or just boots in general. And some people I've heard he's just completely naked. But when I was there last, he was wearing no, when I was there, well, yeah, when I was there last and I saw him actually, which was what, maybe a couple years ago. He was just wearing, like, he was just completely naked with boots on. And he goes in there and he's really polite. He'll come up to you and say, hey, would you mind like pissing in my mouth when you're pissing? And then people will piss in his mouth, and he will obviously get off on it and shit. But I've seen him do it to other people, but I've never been asked. You know what I mean? I've never had the privilege of being requested to pee in someone's mouth. But seeing it in person does nothing for me. As you read it, as you heard me say it, you're like, I don't. That's the one. There's a lot of kinks that you kind of understand. You can kind of get where they're coming from, right? You can kind of see how you can get there. But the urination thing, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't get it. Like, I don't get it in the slightest. Like, and imagine, this is in a bar. This is in a club, sorry, a nightclub in Berghain. So everybody's drinking. Everybody's on drugs and shit. So that's like proper urine. That isn't like, you know what I mean? That's like proper urine. Like, and people are like loving it. And I don't really understand it. I wish I would. I wish I could understand it, because it's interesting to understand these little freaky shits and these little freaky things. But I don't. I've seen it with my own eyes, literally right in front of me as I'm pissing. He was just like, I think on his knees with his mouth open with the guy next to me. But yeah, I've never been asked, unfortunately. maybe one day. And it's not something that I understand why people would get off on it. I don't get it personally, but hey, not to kink shame, each to their own. It continues. Assistant U.S. State Attorney Emily Johnson is running point for the prosecution right now, and she told the jury Diddy forced Cassie to have sex with male escorts while he watched and recorded. Continuing on, the feds say Diddy called the parties the male escort freak-offs, aka wild king nights or hotel nights. Wow, he loves night, innit? He loves the word night. I'm thinking about the album Last Train to Paris, right? I'm thinking about that. There's a track on there that says night as well. Like, yeah, he loves nights. He loves nights. Freak-offs, wild king nights, WKNs, and hotel nights. But to be fair, freak-offs is much more catchy, innit? I see why they went with freak-offs in the media. Freak-offs is a much more catchy, snappy thing to kind of put out there. And they say staff organize transportation and lodging and set up rooms and lubricant and lighting and paying the sex workers with cash providing drugs. I wonder if they're going to have any way of trying to discredit that. Will his lawyers try to make it seem like it was all consensual and Cassie was not just game, that she was a enthusiastic participant, and at some point she take the lead? I wonder if they have evidence of that. Do they have any evidence or proof on their side that can show that Cassie was like properly taking the lead on stuff and not make it seem like she was always being coerced? Because if they can't, then it's going to be a wrap for Diddy, isn't it? There's no way you can come out of this and like not be found guilty. Prosecutors claimed that at one freak-off, Diddy made an escort pee in Cassie's mouth. They said that Diddy was directing every step of the sex parties. He expected the women to appear like they were enjoying themselves. Fucking hell, Diddy. So it's not enough that he pays them to come and do these things. He also tries to force them to react a certain way. That like they can't just do it through gritted teeth. They have to also grin and smile. They have to be happy. They have to at least pretend they're happy. That's some real controlling shit, bro. The feds say that this all started when Cassie was 19 years old with the hit single, and they claim Diddy often got violent with her. So he didn't even give her a time to kind of just enjoy their relationship. Like usually you think these type of things happen when a relationship gets stale, right? When maybe it's a bit boring and you want to spice up the sex life. But it sounds like he didn't even give her time to just like enjoy themselves together. Immediately as he jacked her from fucking Ryan Leslie, he started to do all this mad shit with her. You know what I mean? She didn't even get time to settle in the industry. She was green, super new. Because imagine, right? The industries are already snaky and full of vipers and scoundrels and scumbags and fraudsters. Imagine the first interaction, the first person you kind of deal with in the music industry at large is Diddy. The first person you deal with is Diddy. That kind of scale, that kind of power, that kind of influence. That's a lot to deal with, man. At 19, 18 years old. Cassie dealing with that for the first time. And being, incredibly attractive as well. So you know what time he's on. You know he's not into you because he thinks you're going to be the next Rihanna. You know he's into you, you know what I mean? For other reasons. Wowzers. Prosecutors say Diddy flew into a rage when he found out she was seeing another man, brutally beating her, kicking her in the back and firing her and flinging her around like a rag doll, and blackmailing her by threatening to release video of her having sex with male escorts. So I wonder if that time that he beat her up in the hallway, if that was around the same time that she was allegedly linking Kid Cudi. Because that was another part of the lawsuit, right? That allegedly Diddy blew up Kid Cudi's car or something because he heard Kid Cudi was like, messing around with Cassie. So I wonder if that was the reason why we saw that video. The feds also referenced the infamous Cassie beating video and claimed another instance Diddy stomped on Cassie's face. Another time, he stomped on her face in an SUV. Bro, I know SUVs are big, but do you know how violent, do you know how crazy you have to be to stomp on someone's face in a car? In the backseat of a car? I know these SUVs are massive. These black SUVs that all the celebrities drive in. I think they're Cadillacs, right? I think they're super big. But you have to be in a real fit of rage to jump up and stomp on someone's head in the fucking backseat of a SUV. Diddy is a mad guy, bro. He then made her hole up in a hotel for a week to hide her injuries. So I guess that was a standard thing then. That also explains why back in the day we'd see Cassie disappear for months or weeks on end. Do you remember back in the day? If you're around, you would have known that Cassie would just disappear. She'd be around everywhere, then she wouldn't be around, then she'll pop up. You know what I mean? So I wonder if that was all those time was to do with her injuries. They said that he beat her when he thought she took too long in the bathroom, and they say he knew that she had no choice when Diddy wanted to have a freak off. God almighty. Prosecutors also brought up another alleged victim, a single mother who started spending time with Diddy in 2020. They say that she started falling in love with him before being exposed to parties. I think that's the girl that Young Miami was having beef with. I think so. This girl in 2020 must be that girl that the other Blasian girl that Diddy was dealing with, who Young Miami was having feuds with online. By the way, that Young Miami shit, why isn't she on trial? That's a strange one, isn't it? Wasn't she all up in the fucking lawsuits, being alleged that she was going on private jets with like Tusi stuffed in her fucking Chanel bag, gonna go drop it off to Diddy, but she's not on trial. Is she a witness? Is she corroborating? Like, it's really strange, isn't it? Because she was the last, main, well-known sort of like concubine woman that was involved with Diddy, and she's nowhere near this. She's just living her life like nothing happened. Like, hold on, why are you not getting prosecuted? Strange. The feds say the woman who's being referenced as Jane Doe thought her freak off was a one-off thing, but it wasn't. They say she wanted the escorts to use condoms, but Diddy wouldn't allow it. Yo, it's one thing making your woman, your wife, your girlfriend be involved in freak offs and stuff and whatever, polyamory or whatever, or like hookups and swinging, but making your actual girlfriend like smash other randoms and then making your girlfriend smash these randoms raw, that's some dark shit, bro. That's dark, man. That is dark. What happened to the days of like treating like, remember back in the day, like, this is very toxic to say, but back in the day when people would treat like side pieces, and then like your wife or missus like your missus, you know what I mean? Like Mad Men era. Like if you wanted to exercise your freaky bone, you'd go and do it with whatever, that person that you know, right? But then back home, you'd be like respectful. You know what I mean? What happened to that? Nowadays, people want to do all the freaky stuff with their main. But then when that's not enough, you get other people involved too. And start like, what, putting a ball gag on your wife and shit. Dark times, man. Dark times. And she took drugs to make it through the parties. The first says she vomited during one, but did he force her to keep going? Oof. Oof. I can't imagine. The prosecutors say Diddy also beat the woman and blackmailed her with sex tapes, as they alleged he did with Cassie. Prosecutors say that the former Diddy employee, his ex-personal assistant Mia, will testify about how Diddy forced himself onto her, put his hand up her dress, and penetrated her. Oh my God. Former personal assistant. God almighty, that's a first-hand experience then, isn't it? Shit. The feds say that Cassie will testify too, as will some of escorts, including one who allegedly saw Diddy assault Cassie and drag her by the face during a freak-off. Imagine beating up your woman, your wife, your girlfriend during a sex party. Surely at that point, whenever, like, how do you get angry with a boner anyway? You know? Think about it. How do you get angry with a boner? You have to be a real psycho to be angry. So much so you want to fight when you got a boner. Like, you know what I mean? First of all, when you got a boner, the only thing you're thinking about is a fucking boner. You want to deal with that. What's at hand right now? You're at fucking attention. But for some people who are psychos, they're able to still get angry, still fight with a rock hard boner. And not only fight, beat up your wife, beat up your girlfriend. Crazy guy. Diddy is charged with 5 federal counts, 2 charges of sex trafficking, 2 charges of transportation to engage in prostitution, and a single count of racketeering conspiracy. He's pleaded not guilty to, and his defense says that the freak-offs were consensual. And then to make matters even worse and more gross, his family came out in force. Diddy's family came out in absolute force. It feels like it's a show of force because everyone came. Like the mothers of like other kids and shit, all the kids. Some of them were holding hands, walking into the courtroom together. I get it, that's their dad. I understand it's their dad. You know, whatever happened, happened. But come on, bro. It's not like he's on trial for like speeding offenses. You know? You've seen the Cassie video. Like, you've seen the Cassie video. You know it gets dark. You heard the allegations. It just seems in such poor taste that they're out there, but I guess it's their dad, so they got to do what you got to do. The headline says, Diddy trial, family arrives in force, combs kids at the court with his mother and baby mum. So let's play a bit of the clip here from TMZ of the family walking into the courtroom. That's Diddy's family. They're walking into a courtroom now, every single one of them. Security's open the door and letting them in.
How are you feeling this morning, Mr. Gergos? Are you ready for today?
Mr. Gergos, anything you have to say as we head into a jury selection and opening statements?
Have you spoken to Diddy? How's he doing? How's he feeling?
No comments, of course. Good.
Anything to say before
Oh,
going
let's
into
see the fit. What are you wearing today? You look fantastic. We love the suit. Today's day.
Good morning, sir.
There's Brian. That's Brian Steele, Young Thug's attorney, actually. That got him acquitted. So that's actually a smart move by Diddy. He got the lawyer in from Young Thug's trial who got Young Thug the plea deal. Not acquitted, sorry, the plea deal. And I think he came in last minute, if I'm not mistaken. So this is probably a smart move by Diddy to get one of the best lawyers out at the moment who did a really good job with that YSL case. So he's walking into the courtroom.
Have you spoken
Do you have a
to
second for a question?
Have you spoken to Sean Combs? Like, how's he doing? How's he feeling? Does he feel positive today? I know he was nervous last week.
His publicist said that he was upbeat this morning.
Can you confirm that? Okay.
Can't talk about the case at all, so I don't want to violate the court's order.
Well, how was your weekend? What did you do over the weekend? Was it strictly planning, or did you relax, or did you have a drink?
Thinking about you guys.
More people outside of the courtroom. Aglifino coming in. Okay, there we go. So the entire family walked into the court case. So as you can see here, there's some of Diddy's kids. Oh, there's another girl. I didn't know there was another daughter. So there's the two twins. One's called Jessie, the other one's called Delilah. And then there's another girl, another daughter that's called Chance. And then there's Christian Combs. I think these are all the kids who are the kids of what's the name? The lady that died, unfortunately, the mother that died recently. So I think these are all the kids that are from that marriage, I'm assuming. There's a whole bunch of other kids now. They're showing Quincy, they're showing Justin, they're showing someone called Dana Tran, who may be the mum. I'm not too sure who that person is. But they're all there. They're all there as a show of force. And I don't know, man. I get it. I totally get what they're doing. I totally understand why they're going there with this show of force for their dad. But it's just the fucking allegations, man. It's just what he's been accused of. It's just such in bad taste, especially when it's considering most of it has been done towards the violence and the whatever else has been abuse has been targeted towards women. It's just a difficult one, isn't it? When you're his daughter and you're having to almost defend this by going to court, it's like, ugh. Unless they know something we don't, you know? Unless they know something we don't regarding the case, it just seems like in very, very bad taste to be doing such a thing. But I guess, you know, when he's your dad, it is what it is, isn't it? So let's see how it pans out. Let's see how it pans out. But the family did arrive in force at the trial to you know, stand in solidarity with Diddy, I guess. And I think there was another report I saw that said Diddy was in court reading a Bible the entire time, which is fucking hilarious, by the way. Being accused of what he's accused of, and then now you're in court reading a Bible. Now you want to turn to Christianity. Now suddenly you want to, you know, lift your eyes up onto the Lord and surrender yourself. Now all of a sudden religion is important. Absolutely shameless, in my opinion. Absolutely freaking shameless. But big up him. Big up him.